Hi, my name's Aaron, and I'm the pastor of Homestead Church, and I am determined to answer difficult questions about the Christian faith so that you might have a well thought out faith. Welcome to Unapologetics. So today's question is, with so many world religions that we meet every day, how can Christianity claim to be true? So the first thing we have to realize is that Christianity has always existed in a pluralistic society. When it was first formed after Jesus' resurrection, there was Judaism, there was Roman state religion, there was Roman polytheism, and there was Roman mystery cults, all going on at the same time. So Christianity has always had to claim truth in the midst of a religious pluralism. And that's always been okay. The problem has shown up recently, and I say recently, within the past, 60 years, with the rise of postmodernism. Postmodernism coming up after the death of modernism. Modernism, you remember, was that there can only be one truth, ultimate truth, found through logic and reason, science, proof. And postmodernism saying, no, I don't think that's really the way. And postmodernism being more relativistic, where my truth is my truth and your truth is your truth, and my experience is my truth and your experience is truth, and relativism. So in that relativistic culture that we live in right now, any time that a Christian would say, oh, well, I believe Christ is true, or Jesus is true, or God is true, they are often cited as being imperialistic or not tolerant or any other word you can think of right there. But the question is, just because one person claims something as true and another claims something else is true, does that mean both are true, or does that mean none are true? None are true, neither of them. We've really got to sharpen up our thinking here, because if one person claims that one thing is true, well, let me just give you a good example. Let's say there are those who believe in a round earth. Strange, right? And there are those who believe in a flat earth. April, my wife, said, are there people that really believe that? Oh yes, just type in flat earthers on YouTube and you'll see what I mean. There are flat earthers and there are round earthers. Does that mean neither are true? Does that mean both are true? Just because we're talking science versus religion, we've got to really sharpen this up. We cannot be sloppy in our thinking and in our reasoning. Just because this is religious truth does not mean that it is all relativistic and all true or all untrue. Just as the flat earth versus the unflat earth argument doesn't hold water as both being true, neither does all religions leading to the same God remain true. You see, religious pluralism does not really amount to that great of a challenge to Christianity. In fact, it shows more of a crack in secular, humanistic, non-religious society, and they're seeking after truth. A fancy word for that is, how do you know, epistemology. It doesn't really present that big of a truth for Christianity, but it shows rather a large wound in the thinking of our country as postmodernism tries to grapple with truth and its ultimate relativism. Now, do all religions mean the same thing? Are all religions going to the same place? Is that cliche, all religions lead to the same top paths, lead to the top of the mountain? But really quickly, what is a religion? Define it for me. Now, if you said a belief in God, well, let me say to you, there are religions who believe in God, and there are religions who are avowedly against that. They do not believe in a God figure. Are those both the same? Are those both religions? Yes, they're both religions, but they are vastly different. There are so many other differences. And for us to say that all religions are the same means that we are coming at it in a very simplistic way. What is religion? It's really hard to say. It is not simple. It is incredibly complex. And so I would challenge those who would say all religions are the same. How can we say that just because we label them the same, that they are the same? Are apples and oranges the same just because we call them fruits? No. No. Are people the same just because they're people? No, they're really not. So we can't say that something so very different is the same just because we want to categorize it in the same way. Now, another thing to think about is when we defend Christianity as true, it's not that you are belittling other faiths or saying that they're awful. Just because we claim Christianity is true does not mean we're imperialistic pigs. Rather, nor does it make us intolerant or bigots. Certainly we respect all religions. We respect those who adhere to those religions, but we at the same time must believe that something is true. It works in so many other places in our culture. An easy one in this election year is Republican versus Democrat in the American political arena. Each claiming to be true. Does it mean that they hate the other? Well, I should hope not. I hope that they would respect the other. But just because we say Christianity is true does not mean that we belittle the other ones. Now, another thing that someone might say is, well, Aaron, you're born in America, so the chances are you're going to be a Christian. If you were born in India, chances are you'd be a Hindu, Saudi Arabia, a Muslim, and a Buddhist in China, or whatever, and so on. So, truth is a function of geography. That really doesn't make sense either, does it? Imagine someone born in, the late 20s in Germany, the 1920s. More than likely they'd be a Nazi, but does that make Nazism correct? Does it make that belief system true? Would we apply this thinking to anything else other than religion? And we say no. So therefore, we must agree that geography is not a function of truth, and truth is not a function of geography. No other intellectual discipline allows this sloppy of thinking, and so we must say the same in our religious faith. It doesn't hold water. Well, what about sincerity? You can sincerely believe that the flying spaghetti monster exists, but it's not true. Now, of course, the flying spaghetti monster people see themselves as a satire against Christianity. But sincerity is not a way of making something true. Just because Nazis thought that killing Jews was a good idea doesn't mean that it was a good idea. Sincerity, therefore, is not a form of truth claim either, or a proof of truth, I guess I should say. And just because we want everyone to not get their feelings hurt doesn't mean that something is true. Just because we don't want to say something is untrue, which might wound someone, that is not a good enough reason to say that all religions are the truth. Excuse me. Many religions have very different truth claims, and so to say that they're all the same is just impossibly foolish. Say, for instance, Satanism and Christianity are we might call them both religions, but does that mean they're both the same at their core? Do they end in the same place? Do they have the same goals? No, they don't. Do they believe in the same deities? No, they don't. Or atheistic Buddhism is not the same as Judaism, or monotheistic Islam is not the same as polytheistic Norse religion from Viking era. Each have their own way of being, their own way of explaining, their own ends, their own deities, their own goals. And those vast differences say that they cannot be the same. And for them to be the same, we must strip them of all of their, we must strip religions of everything that makes them unique. And no one wants that for anything in their life. For you to be considered a person who matches other people, would you like to have everything that makes you unique stripped away? Then why would we want to apply that to religious faith? Say, for instance, in Christianity, the unique thinking of Trinity and incarnation. Trinity being Father, Son, and Spirit, 3 in 1. And incarnation being God Himself coming in Jesus of Nazareth, the Messiah, the Christ, to reveal God. If we are to say all religions are the same, the only thing, if we were to homogenize all these religions, none of their adherents would be able to recognize them as their religion. So therefore it cannot be true. What about these other religions and truth? Now, I can say for sure, so, is there any truth in the other religions? And I can say yes, there is. No world religion would hold much weight or last very long if it didn't have some truth to it, right? And so how I would go about this is saying that the great world religions, because people are made in the image of God, and God is to be seen in God's creation, because of this, the great world religions do have truth. They do have some bits of God in there. But as a Christian, I have to believe that Jesus, the Messiah, is God of very God and the ultimate revelation of who God is. And I believe that with my whole heart, that Jesus reveals God to us. And that is the truth that I hold. And that Jesus is the way to God. And that Jesus provides for us redemption and hope and healing. And those things can never be given up. Those things must remain for Christianity to be Christianity. We're not talking spirituality. We're not talking warm, fuzzy feelings. We are talking about a way of redeeming the entire creation and people along with it from our problem of evil and death. That is the truth of Christianity. And just because I say that's true doesn't mean I don't love my brothers and sisters in other faiths. But I do believe that Christianity is true, and you can as well. Thanks, and leave your comments below, like and subscribe. Share this on your social media, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.